should be here.
What? Okay, I'll just not be in the frame. Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. I am super excited today to be reviewing Urban Decay's Naked Smiley palette. Let me go ahead and confess this very quickly, as you can probably tell by what I am wearing, what I have on my wrists, and also some of my decorations in the back here. Obsessed with smiley faces. Can't get enough of them. Have been obsessed since I was a little kid. Literally, my favorite commercial was the Walmart commercial where the smiley face would bump around and hop around and take all of the prices down. And it was both an exciting commercial to me. Yes, because it was a good deal, lowering prices and stuff, but mostly because of the smiley face. And it's always been a thing for me. So when Urban Decay came out with their collaboration with Smiley, I was like, I need to get on this, mostly just because the Urban Decay Naked collection is iconic in my eyes. They honestly were the first makeup brand to come out with the whole eyeshadow palette in a very neutral tone that was totally accessible. I have very sweet memories of the Urban Decay Naked palettes also because I have used those eyeshadow palettes for really big events. Naked 2 was my first eyeshadow palette ever, and then I used Naked 3 when my sister got married and I was her maid of honor, and so I mean, I'm so excited about this. These better be good because it's a combination of my favorite things in the entire world. So please, please, Urban Decay, outperform everything with these two palettes. All right, let's go ahead and talk about this. This one is their Naked Mucho Happy palette, and then they have a Naked Chill Happy palette. So let's go ahead and open these. I may have to save the packaging on this. It's just so freaking cute. I can't even handle it right now. Here is the packaging. I am so obsessed with everything about this. Look at how colorful and rainbowy and holographic this is. Honestly, if these eyeshadow palettes are shit, at least the packaging is beautiful. So let's go ahead and talk about the swatches here. So on the left-hand side, the 6 shades that we have, and this is from the Chill Happy palette, we have Paz, Modern Mystic, Happy Trap, Upper, Brainwave, and Fire. I'm going to tell you now that the Paz shade has me feeling very nervous. It was a little bit chalky. The one that seems to be the most interesting to me right now is Fire, because Fire seems to have little glitter particles in it that seem to be more on the green, blue, purple, and so it's just a little bit of a different shift than what you would normally see on something that is so bright magenta. Normally you would just see more of a gold shift to it, so I think that's really, really special. And then these 6 swatches here are from the Mucho Happy palette, and then we have Sight, Blast, Partay, Spritzer, Smiley, and then Cyber Smiles. Again, with the lighter shades here, with these 2 matte shades, I'm slightly nervous about them. In terms of pigmentation, I don't know if that's even really going to show up on my skin. It looks a little bit chalky, but I do love the way that these 2 shimmers are showing up, though perhaps maybe not super special in the grand scheme of things, because I think everyone has gold gold shimmers, right? It's pretty common. But I am super excited actually about this light blue. I think that'll be really great to transition us into the summer. And I'm gonna put my arm down now because I can no longer feel my shoulder. That was a really long time. Okay. Obviously, you guys know on this channel we don't do first impressions, so I will obviously come back at the end of this week to let you guys know how I feel about all of the shades in these palettes. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to wear one eyeshadow palette. I don't know what I'm trying to show you with my arm like that. We'll do one eyeshadow palette on this eye and then the other one on the other eye. We'll speed through this process so this video isn't too long, and we'll see what we come up with. By the way, I do already have my eyes primed with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion Anti-Aging Formula. If you have not heard me rant about how awesome that product is, consider that the rant. And we are done with our look with my lovely mismatching eyes. It's okay, guys. I'm not going anywhere for the rest of the day. I'm literally going to work out and then watch Ted Lasso, which I'm super excited about. By the way, if you are not watching Ted Lasso, you really should be. Totally worth the Apple TV subscription. Let's start with like the pink eyeshadow palette, which is the Chill Happy palette. For the most part, actually, I was quite surprised by both of these mattes. What I ended up doing was I placed Modern Mystic into the crease of my eye, and then I decided to put Paz as kind of like an all-over brightening shade to just kind of get all of the other shadows that I was going to lay on top of it to pop. And actually, both of those looked really, really beautiful on my eye. Like, I'm honestly shocked at how well it is showing up. It is literally like that neon orange, and I love how peachy and beautiful that looks. In terms of the other formulas like Upper, Brainwave, and Fire, all of these are like your standard Urban Decay shimmer shades that are super buildable, very easy to work with. In some cases, I did feel like, not gonna lie, I did feel like with Fire, on that very first application, I was very nervous because when I put it on there, I was like, I am not seeing any pigmentation go from the brush onto my eyelid. It wasn't transferring well. That made me a little bit nervous, and then I went back in and added in a second layer, and then all of a sudden, that Urban Decay magic came back out. I started to get pigmentation. Now, let's talk about the shade that I think is kind of garbage. So Happy Trap is a different formula than the rest of the shimmers. It definitely feels like it's more of a chunky glitter, but it is not a well formulated chunky glitter in that it is too soft. If you zoom in here, you can see that it looks really, really chunky. It's hard to work with. I ended up feeling like more of it transferred onto my face instead of onto the eye, which is where I was trying to use my finger to apply that color. And so this is the only one in this palette that I'm like, I could really do without this shade. I just performance-wise, I was like, eh. Let's move over to the Mucho Happy palette. I actually also really like how this palette looks on my eye. I do think this one was a little bit difficult, more difficult, I would actually say, to work with. Let's talk about the two lighter matte shades. And here we do have this yellow, which is also a matte. With Blast, I did feel like it was skipping a little bit in the middle of my eye. So as I was blending into my crease, I was noticing that that color was really collecting on the inner part of my crease and then the outer corner here. And I was like, I don't really know what's going on here. And so I just added a little bit more pigmentation, built it up, and then that problem went away. Although I will say, looking in my monitor right now, actually I can still kind of see that that shade here, even though I placed it all along my lid, doesn't really seem to be showing up here in the middle. So a little bit weird, something that I'm probably going to test a little bit more throughout the week because it's just like a odd, like what the heck, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Partey and Spritzer are really beautiful. If you are looking for that like sultry gold, beautiful like shimmer eyeshadow that's just gonna catch the light as you turn and it's gonna like enhance the bronziness of your skin, like these are beautiful, beautiful shades. The yellow matte really surprised me actually. I'm always very nervous about yellow eyeshadows because I do feel like if you apply too much to your face, particularly for me because I do have golden undertones, it just kind of ends up looking a little jaundicey, but I love this as kind of just like an accent color right here to just give everything else a little bit of a pop. I feel like adding in the yellow just kind of enhanced the golden tones of both of these shades, and I just think it looks really fun, so I really like it. Now let's talk about the blue shade. Man, I don't know what it is about these shimmer blue shades, but I just feel like they must be really hard to manufacture. This is a color that I think will only apply well if you are using your fingers. I don't think this is one that you can really use with a brush. I tried to apply it to my under eye. I eventually got there, but it took me a little bit longer than I would have liked. And so as much as I love that Urban Decay formulas are very buildable and you have time to play, and you can kind of customize the finish the way that you want, this one I was just like jabbing in there and like ended up wetting my brush just to try and get more of a pigmentation to kind of just come through on the under eye. It ended up looking fine, but I have to admit I had to work for it. There's a fine line, I feel, between like being buildable and then just being hard to work with. And so this blue shade for me was a little bit like, not sure here. Alrighty, you guys, you know the drill. I will be trying out these eyeshadow palettes for the rest of the week. I am super excited, by the way, that I'm going to be walking into all of my work meetings with like neon on my eyes. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna start a revolution in the software world. I will see you guys at the end of the week with my final thoughts. Talk to you guys then. Hey everyone, welcome back. It is now the end of the week, so I am here to give you my final thoughts on the Naked Smiley palettes. If you like Urban Decay's Naked formula, you're familiar with the whole like being able to customize how pigmented the eyeshadows go on. You like that you have the option of doing either a wash of color or you can wet it or apply it with your finger. Then I think these palettes are actually really fun. I love the packaging, I love the design of them. So I did want to give you guys an update on this blue shade here. So if you are trying to just get like a wash of blue, like which is what I actually currently have in my inner corners, then you can use a brush to apply this, and actually like it gives you like a very silvery kind of a blue texture, which I really like. But if you want like intense blue pigmentation across like your entire lid, would highly recommend applying this shade with your finger. That's really just how it applies best, which is kind of what I figured when I was doing my first impressions, but just wanted to come back and update you on that. In terms of longevity, I do feel like Urban Decay, like these palettes perform the same way as the original like Naked palettes. There's not like there's a decrease in quality or anything like that, so I never had any issues with longevity, as long as obviously you must use an eyeshadow primer. But like that is something that I would recommend to everyone. If you are wearing eyeshadow, like a powder eyeshadow, you should be wearing a primer underneath it to just make sure everything stays on your lids. It is not a step that you can skip. So I really like these two palettes. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I love the packaging, I love the themes. I actually even really love the color stories. I love that there's one that is super summery with like the beautiful golden tones, and that would be the Mucho Happy palette. And then I love that there's another one that if you want to do a little bit more of a colorful look and get into like the pinks and stuff, which you guys know I'm a huge fan of pink and purple eyeshadows, then I think that's beautiful too. So as you can see, I kind of went with a really summery look today using this palette, which is the Mucho Happy one, and I really like it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, please feel free to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.